I have given everyone one blank sheet of paper and a fine-tipped black magic marker. If everyone would, please take the tip of the marker, place it onto the center of the paper, and then put the marker down. Though tiny, against the brand new bright white sheet of paper, the dot the marker left sure stands out, doesn't it? So did the tiny mole that I found on my 1-year-old son's stomach one night during a bath. In fact, at the time, that's exactly what I thought it was, marker. I can even recall trying to scrub it off, but it didn't even smear. When most people hear the term melanoma, they think of a 65-year-old grandfather who spent his entire life in the sun. It never crossed my mind that 3 weeks later, when I took my 1-year-old son to his scheduled physical, that I would hear that term. A week after that, there we were, back in the doctor's office for a biopsy to be performed. Even as I held my son down for the doctor to remove the small black mole off his abdomen, I just didn't think that there was any way it could be cancer. How could it be skin cancer? It wasn't until we got the results back a few days later that it really sank in. My son had stage 1 skin cancer. That day, I questioned everything that I thought I knew about melanoma and started my research through my tears that evening. According to the researchers at the Mayo Clinic, it turns out that the primary way of developing skin cancer is long-term exposure to the sun, but there are other ways of developing this disease. Infants and children can develop this type of skin cancer by even small amounts of sun exposure, family history or genetics, and also cases have been reported that melanoma was even transferred from the mother to the fetus in the womb. This disease is extremely rare. The chances of an infant developing skin cancer are minimal, but minimal is not impossible. Monitoring changes in your child's moles or birthmarks, teaching sun safety, and making other people aware of the possibility of this disease affecting our children are simple yet important things we can do to prevent this deadly form of cancer. Many children are born with birthmarks. Depending on their skin type, many will develop freckles. Some will even develop moles. All of this is normal, but when blemishes start to change shape, it could be deadly. There is a rule to go by when assessing a new or changing blemish, as published by Dr. Henry Hughes. It is called the ABCDE danger signs. A for asymmetry, meaning not equal on both sides. B for borders, as in irregular or rough. C stands for color. If the color is dark or spotted, it could be signs of melanoma. D means diameter. Melanoma is usually larger than the tip of a pencil eraser. And finally, E, the most important sign to look for, evolving. If the mole or blemish changes from its original form, it should be evaluated immediately. Although some forms of cancer are unstoppable, skin cancer is almost 100% preventable. As adults, we know the dangers of skin cancer, and most of us take the necessary precautions and limit sun exposure to reduce the chances of skin cancer. By the time we reach that responsible adulthood age, the effects of overexposure to the sun during childhood could have already caused hidden damage. Did you know that if a child was to get a bad sunburn, up to 10 years later, cancer could develop as a result? It is important not only to protect our children from the harmful effects of the sun, but teach the value of sun safety at an early age. At age 6 or 60, skin cancer can be prevented by taking some simple precautions. Using sunscreen when outdoors is imperative. Even small amounts of sun exposure can cause damage that could lead to skin cancer. Make applying sunscreen for your children as normal as a chore as brushing their teeth. It is a simple task that could possibly save their lives. Even after over an hour of speaking to my son's pediatrician about the possible reasons that he had developed melanoma at such a young age, and hours of research at home, I still couldn't believe that an infant could have it. Neither could my close friends, but they each brought it up to their child's pediatrician on the next visit and had them evaluated. It added another 4 minutes to their scheduled appointment and took away any of their concerns. That is all it takes to prevent this disease: spreading the word and talking to your pediatrician. Had I not experienced this and shared it, they would have no idea that this possibility even existed, and the people they told who did the same wouldn't have either. So far, 5 people that I know have had their children evaluated, and hopefully after hearing this speech, 5 more will do the same. Monitoring changes in your child's moles or birthmarks, teaching sun safety, and making other people aware of the possibility of this disease affecting our children is all it takes to make this possibility impossible. You have been sitting in front of me listening, hopefully, to me speak for 6.5 minutes now. In the same amount of time, once every 6 months, you can evaluate your child for abnormalities in their skin. Doesn't seem like a big deal, does it? Well, skin cancer is, and that's all you need to have to do to prevent it. As parents, we need to be aware of the possibility of this rare disease and advocate for our children's health. We have enough to worry about when it comes to raising children. Let's not let this form of preventable cancer be one of them. As for my son Jackson, he is just fine. Less than 24 hours before the surgery to remove a wider margin around his lesion took place, I received a phone call from his pediatrician. There was a mistake made at the lab, and Jackson was cancer-free this whole time. All the heartbreak, stress, and worry was for nothing. Or was it? Now I know the risk factors and how serious and deadly this disease is, and in turn, so do you. Thank you.
Yay.